Imagine discovering that the soil beneath your feet could generate more income than a traditional office job in the city. What if a single plant, grown with care and sold to the right market, had the power to transform your financial future? You don't need enormous farms, expensive machinery, or complicated equipment to start. What you truly need is smart planning, patience, and the knowledge of which plants are worth growing. In today's video, we're exploring 10 powerful plants that can turn ordinary farmland into an incredibly profitable opportunity. These are crops that buyers around the world are willing to pay thousands of dollars for. If you've ever wanted to take farming beyond basic survival and turn it into a path toward real wealth, then you're in the right place. Because the plants you'll discover today have the potential to create life-changing income. Hello plant enthusiasts, and welcome back to Nature's Lost Vault, the place where simple seeds grow into big opportunities and farmland becomes a source of success. Now, let's jump straight into the list. Plant number 1, ginseng. Ginseng isn't just another plant you grow on a farm. It represents a completely different way of thinking about agriculture. The moment a farmer decides to grow ginseng, they stop focusing on quick harvests and start thinking like a long-term investor. This is not a crop that rewards speed. Instead, it rewards patience and careful planning. Unlike most plants that are planted, harvested, and sold within a single season, ginseng quietly develops beneath the soil for several years. And with every year that passes, its value continues to rise. While many crops bring short-term income, ginseng works more like a long-term investment that grows stronger over time. Around the world, the demand for ginseng remains extremely strong. Health and wellness companies, pharmaceutical industries, traditional medicine markets, and supplement manufacturers all rely heavily on this powerful root. The problem is that only a small number of farmers are willing to grow it properly. And that gap between high demand and limited supply is exactly what drives its impressive price. Mature ginseng roots are not treated like ordinary vegetables in the market. They are often valued more like rare agricultural products. Buyers carefully examine the root's shape, age, branching, and the way it was cultivated. Farmers who produce high-quality roots often gain the advantage of selling directly to serious buyers instead of depending on middlemen. Another interesting thing about ginseng is where it grows best. Unlike most crops that require open sunlight, ginseng actually prefers shade. That means wooded areas, forest edges, and land covered with trees can suddenly become valuable farmland. Land that might otherwise go unused can start producing significant income. Because of this, even farmers with limited open space can compete in this market. Ginseng doesn't demand perfection from farmers. What it truly requires is protection, consistency, and time. The growers who succeed with ginseng are those who understand the power of delayed rewards. They are planting today for a harvest that may arrive years later, but when that harvest finally comes, the returns can be remarkable. For many farmers, ginseng becomes more than just a crop. It becomes a source of financial stability and opportunity, helping them expand their land, invest in better equipment, and build long-term prosperity for future generations. Plant number 2, Morina. Morina is the perfect example of what happens when fast growth meets real market demand. While some high-value crops take years before they produce profits, Morina moves much faster. It grows quickly, produces heavily, and once established, it continues giving harvest after harvest with very little effort. Because of this, many farmers see Morina as one of the most dependable plants for generating consistent income instead of waiting years for a return. The real value of Morina lies in its leaves. These leaves can be harvested frequently, dried without difficulty, and processed into powder that sells throughout the entire year. The global demand for Morina products continues to rise as more people focus on natural health and nutrition. Wellness brands, herbal companies, and supplement manufacturers are constantly searching for reliable suppliers who can provide clean and high-quality Morina. Another reason Morina stands out is its versatility. Farmers are not limited to selling just one product. Fresh leaves can be sold in local markets, dried leaves can reach regional buyers, and morina powder can be exported to international markets. Even the seeds have value because they can be pressed to produce oil, while the pods are commonly sold as vegetables in many parts of the world. This means one plant can create several different income opportunities. Having multiple products also protects farmers from market changes. If demand for one product slows down, another product from the same plant can continue generating income. Morina also works well for both large farms and small backyard growers. It responds strongly to pruning, which allows farmers to manage the plant size while encouraging more leaf production. Even better, morina improves soil health rather than draining it, making it a sustainable crop for long-term farming. Farmers who truly understand the potential of morina often discover that the biggest challenge isn't finding buyers, it's producing enough to keep up with demand. Morina isn't a risky crop. It's a dependable workhorse that keeps producing value season after season. Plant number 3, Gotu kola. Gotu kola is one of those plants that many people ignore, yet it holds incredible potential for farmers who understand specialized herbal markets. For centuries, this small leafy plant has been valued across many Asian cultures for its role in supporting brain health and circulation. Despite its long history, only a limited number of farmers outside those traditional regions are producing it at scale. That limited supply creates an opportunity for growers who are willing to enter this niche market. Because demand is growing internationally while supply remains relatively low, farmers who cultivate Gotu kola carefully can often access profitable buyers much faster than with many common crops. Another advantage of this plant is that it doesn't require huge farmland. Gotu kola grows well in smaller, well-managed plots, which makes it suitable even for farmers with limited space. The global market for this herb is driven by health-focused consumers, herbal product brands, and companies that produce natural supplements. The plant is used in many forms, including herbal teas, extracts, tinctures, and dried leaf products. As interest in natural wellness continues to grow, so does the demand for reliable suppliers. For farmers, this means that every harvested leaf has real value. And when the plant is processed further, whether by drying, grinding into powder, or packaging, its market value can increase significantly. Even when sold fresh or unprocessed, Gotu kola can still generate a good return. But when properly processed and marketed, it can become a premium herbal product that reaches international buyers. Growing Gotu kola successfully requires care and smart farm management. The plant thrives in moist soil and partially shaded environments. It also responds well to repeated harvesting when leaves are cut carefully without harming the root system. Farmers who maintain healthy soil, provide consistent water, and manage pests effectively often find that the plant continues producing for multiple seasons. Unlike many annual crops that disappear after one harvest, Gotu kola keeps regenerating. Over time, farmers not only increase their production but also gain valuable experience, stronger buyer relationships, and a deeper understanding of the herbal market. Another major advantage is the plant's flexibility in sales channels. While pharmaceutical and wellness companies create strong global demand, there is also steady interest from local herbal markets and tea producers. This allows farmers to sell their harvest through multiple outlets, including local herbal shops, supplement manufacturers, and even direct online sales to consumers. Having several sales options reduces risk and helps farmers avoid depending on just one buyer. For farmers who recognize its potential, Gotu kola becomes far more than a simple crop. It becomes a dependable source of long-term income and a gateway into the expanding world of medicinal plant farming. Plant number 4, saffron. Saffron proves that success in farming isn't always about owning huge amounts of land. Sometimes, it's about choosing the right crop and using your land wisely. This remarkable plant produces one of the most valuable spices in the world. Yet, it begins as a simple and delicate flower. At first glance, a saffron field may look ordinary, but hidden within those small purple blooms is a product that can be worth far more than many traditional crops grown on large farms. What makes saffron so valuable is the amount of care and effort required to produce it. Each flower produces only a few thin threads, and those threads must be picked gently by hand. Because the process is slow and requires patience, many farmers avoid growing it. But that difficulty is exactly what keeps saffron valuable. When a crop is challenging to produce, fewer people are willing to grow it. As a result, supply remains limited while demand stays strong. Farmers who are willing to invest the time and effort often gain access to buyers who are ready to pay premium prices. Another advantage of saffron is how it fits into the farming calendar. It grows during a period when many other crops are inactive, meaning farmers can earn additional income without disrupting their main harvests. Once the saffron threads are carefully dried, they can be stored for a long time without losing their quality. This gives farmers an important advantage: they are not forced to sell immediately after harvest. Instead, they can wait, watch the market, and sell when the price is more favorable. Saffron also opens doors to high-end markets. Luxury restaurants, gourmet food companies, specialty spice brands, and international exporters are constantly searching for high-quality saffron. For farmers, entering this market can completely change how buyers view their work. Instead of selling large volumes of ordinary produce, they become suppliers of a rare and valuable agricultural product. And sometimes, that single change in perception can transform the entire future of a farm. Plant number 5, stevia. Stevia is a plant that benefits from a major global shift in the way people think about food. Around the world, more consumers are being encouraged to cut down on sugar, reduce calories, and avoid artificial sweeteners. But while people want healthier choices, their love for sweet flavors hasn't disappeared. That's exactly where stevia becomes valuable. This natural plant provides sweetness without the negative health effects associated with traditional sugar. Because of this, the demand for stevia products has been steadily increasing across many industries. Unlike trendy crops that rise and fall quickly, stevia is connected to a long-term change in consumer habits. As people continue searching for healthier alternatives, the market for natural sweeteners keeps expanding. Another interesting thing about stevia is that farmers are not simply selling weight. They are selling concentration. Even a small quantity of dried stevia leaves can produce sweetness equal to large amounts of sugar. That makes storage, transportation, and distribution far more efficient. Farmers who recognize this opportunity begin thinking beyond traditional crop sales. Instead of supplying local produce markets, they start positioning themselves as suppliers for food manufacturers, beverage companies, and health product brands that rely on natural sweetening ingredients. Processing also plays an important role in maximizing profits. When stevia leaves are dried and ground into powder, their market value increases. When the sweetness compounds are extracted properly, farmers can access even more specialized buyers who require consistent ingredients for production. This is often where successful growers stand apart from others. Instead of selling raw leaves at low prices, they supply processed products that companies can immediately use. Stevia has another advantage as well. Once the plants are established, they can be harvested several times throughout the growing season. That means farmers are not limited to a single harvest window each year. Over time, a well-managed stevia crop becomes less about occasional harvests and more about maintaining a steady and dependable income stream. Plant number 6, wasabi. Wasabi is one of the most unusual crops in modern agriculture. And that rarity is exactly what makes it profitable. Most people believe they've tasted wasabi, especially when eating sushi. But in reality, the green paste served in many restaurants is usually an imitation made from other ingredients. Authentic wasabi is much rarer than most consumers realize. That gap between the real product and the common substitute creates a powerful opportunity for farmers. Growers who produce genuine wasabi are not competing with large-scale commodity crops. Instead, they enter a specialized market where supply is extremely limited and demand comes from buyers who value authenticity. Part of what keeps wasabi rare is the difficulty of growing it. The plant requires very specific conditions, including cool temperatures, clean running water, and careful environmental control. Because these requirements are challenging, many farmers choose not to grow it at all. But for those willing to learn the process, the difficulty becomes an advantage. Fewer growers means fewer suppliers in the market. And when supply is limited, farmers gain stronger negotiating power when selling their harvest. Wasabi also changes the relationship between farmers and buyers. Instead of selling through large middlemen or commodity markets, many growers sell directly to chefs, upscale restaurants, and specialty food distributors. These buyers are not searching for the lowest price. What they want is authenticity, quality, and reliability. Because of that, real wasabi can often generate much higher returns per plant compared to many traditional crops. More importantly, wasabi rewards farmers who focus on mastery rather than quantity. It encourages growers to specialize, refine their skills, and produce something exceptional. And in agriculture, producing something rare and high quality is often far more profitable than simply producing large volumes of ordinary crops. Plant number 7, vanilla. Vanilla may look like a simple plant, but behind its delicate appearance lies one of the most labor-intensive crops in agriculture. Growing vanilla successfully requires careful timing, patience, and close attention to detail. That effort is exactly why vanilla remains one of the most valuable spices in the world. Unlike many crops that rely heavily on machines or natural pollination, vanilla depends largely on human work. Each flower must be pollinated by hand within a very short time window. After harvest, the beans must go through a long curing process that can take several months. Because the production process is slow and demanding, very few farmers are able to grow and process vanilla properly. This naturally limits supply, and when supply is limited, prices remain strong. Successful vanilla farmers understand that rushing the process only reduces quality. Instead, they invest time in mastering every stage of production. From pollination to curing, experience and patience often determine the final value of the beans. Another advantage of vanilla is the importance of reputation. Buyers pay close attention to the origin of the beans, their aroma, and the consistency of the product. Farmers who consistently produce high-quality vanilla often build long-term relationships with buyers. Over time, those relationships can become even more valuable than the harvest itself. Vanilla also benefits from a wide range of industries that rely on it. It is used not only in food and beverages, but also in cosmetics, perfumes, and specialty products. Because demand comes from multiple markets, vanilla farmers are not dependent on a single industry. For growers who are willing to learn the process and maintain high standards, vanilla can become a stable and long-term foundation for farm income. Plant number 8, ginger. Ginger is a crop that many people see as ordinary, but for farmers who understand its global market, it can become an impressive source of income. Although ginger is widely recognized as a common kitchen ingredient, its real value appears when farmers explore the entire value chain. Ginger can be sold fresh, dried, ground into powder, or processed into extracts and oils. Each stage of processing increases its potential market value. The key is not simply harvesting ginger and selling it immediately at local market prices. Smart farmers think about how processing, packaging, and distribution can transform a basic crop into a higher value product. Ginger is also supported by strong global demand. It is used in teas, packaged foods, herbal medicine, dietary supplements, and even skincare products. Because of this wide range of uses, the market for ginger continues to grow year after year. Another advantage is that ginger stores well. This allows farmers to control when they sell their harvest instead of rushing to market immediately. By waiting for periods of higher demand, growers can often secure better prices. Experienced farmers sometimes divide their harvest into different products. A portion may be sold fresh in local markets, another portion dried for regional buyers, and some processed into powder for longer storage or export. Producing high-quality ginger requires proper farm management. The plant grows best in loose, well-drained soil with consistent moisture and moderate sunlight. Farmers who enrich their soil with organic compost, rotate crops, and manage pests carefully often produce stronger, healthier roots. Since ginger develops underground, soil quality plays a direct role in the final harvest. Healthy soil leads to larger, higher quality roots that command better prices in the market. Over time, ginger can also reduce production costs. Farmers often use sections of mature roots as planting material for the next season. This allows them to expand production without constantly buying new seeds. With the right management, ginger becomes more than just a seasonal crop. It turns into a renewable farming asset that continues generating value year after year. For farmers who scale production wisely, improve processing methods, and develop strong buyer relationships, even a relatively small farm can produce income that rivals much larger operations. Plant number 9, turmeric. Turmeric is often called the golden root, and not just because of its bright color. For many farmers, it represents a powerful opportunity to build a profitable agricultural business. While some growers treat turmeric as just another spice crop, experienced farmers understand that its real value lies in the many different ways it can be marketed. Fresh turmeric roots can be sold directly in produce markets, dried roots can be processed into powder, and extracts can be used in supplements and skincare products. Each step in this process adds another level of value. The global demand for turmeric has expanded rapidly in recent years. It has become a popular ingredient in health drinks, herbal supplements, cosmetic products, and natural anti-inflammatory treatments. Because of these diverse uses, farmers who produce clean, high-quality turmeric are becoming increasingly valuable suppliers. One of the most important factors in turmeric farming is quality. Roots with high curcumin content and good color can sell at significantly higher prices compared to standard crops. This means careful cultivation practices can directly increase a farmer's income. Farmers who go a step further and learn how to dry, grind, and package turmeric can increase profits even more. Turning raw roots into a finished product often multiplies their market value. Growing turmeric successfully requires patience and the right growing conditions. The plant thrives in warm climates, nutrient-rich soil, and consistent moisture. Because turmeric develops underground as a rhizome, farmers must also focus on proper soil management and harvest timing. Harvesting too early or drying the roots incorrectly can reduce both quality and price. That's why experienced growers treat each stage, from planting to post-harvest processing, as an important part of the overall profit system. Turmeric also works well within larger farm management strategies. Farmers can stagger planting times to maintain a steady supply. The leftover plant material can be used for compost or animal feed, and turmeric fits well into crop rotation systems that improve soil health. For many growers, turmeric eventually becomes more than a spice crop. It becomes a dependable agricultural asset capable of generating steady income year after year. Plant number 10, garlic. Garlic may seem like one of the most ordinary crops in agriculture, but its global demand makes it one of the most dependable. Across cultures and cuisines, garlic is a basic ingredient that millions of people use every day. Beyond cooking, it is also valued for its health benefits and medicinal properties. This constant demand creates a strong and stable market for farmers. However, the most successful garlic growers do not simply compete in bulk commodity markets. Instead, they focus on producing higher quality bulbs and creating value-added products. Premium garlic varieties, organically grown bulbs, peeled cloves, garlic powder, and processed garlic products can all command significantly higher prices compared to standard bulk harvests. One of garlic's biggest advantages is its consistent demand. Restaurants, grocery stores, and households purchase it year-round. Unlike some crops that sell only during short seasonal peaks, garlic maintains steady demand across the entire year. Another benefit is that garlic stores very well when cured properly. This allows farmers to hold their harvest and sell when market prices are more favorable rather than rushing to sell immediately. Growing high-quality garlic requires careful planning. Proper soil preparation, correct planting depth, and good spacing all influence how large and healthy the bulbs will become. Irrigation and pest management must also be handled carefully to protect crop quality. Farmers who practice crop rotation and use natural soil improvements often produce stronger bulbs without relying heavily on chemicals. When grown carefully, premium garlic can sell for 2 or even 3 times the price of lower-quality bulk garlic. But perhaps garlic's greatest strength is its versatility. A single harvest can be sold fresh for cooking, processed into powder or paste, used for health supplements, or turned into medicinal extracts. Because of these multiple uses, garlic farming can create several revenue streams from the same crop. For farmers who focus on quality, branding, and smart marketing, garlic becomes more than just a kitchen staple. It becomes a powerful and reliable source of farm income. Don't forget to subscribe to Nature's Lost Vault so you never miss tips that can turn your yard, backyard, or farm into a real money-making